Alright, hi y'all. So I'm back with another video, or another reading. And in this video, I kind of got a little bit inspired by, I watch a couple of tarot readers and stuff on TikTok. Well, there's this one lady on TikTok that I occasionally get on my feed, and she kind of helps explain a bit of tarot and stuff. And I was kind of inspired by some of the questions she asked in one of her videos. Asking about the core energy of a relationship. And this could be like a relationship for like a romantic relationship, family, platonic, friends. And so I was kind of inspired by that video to ask a similar question. So with this reading, I'm just going to ask what's the core energy or dynamic between you and your fictional other. So I've already shuffled my deck here, called in spirit, called in my spirit guides to help tap into y'all's energy a bit better. Hopefully this video will not be too long. I try to make sure these videos are kind of short. I also got some oracle cards I'm going to ask at the end. There's a new oracle deck that I got pretty recently, along with a new tarot deck that I got. I believe this one is called, the Wandering Spirit Tarot. It is a very, very beautiful deck. Unfortunately, I cannot show these cards on my video because YouTube might bought me for the for the imagery in them, but it's a very beautiful deck, so I definitely recommend if you're also a tarot reader and you're looking into some cards, I definitely recommend looking into this deck. It is absolutely beautiful. But without further ado, we'll get into the reading here. Alright, Spirit. So what is the core energy or dynamic between the collective and their fictional others? Ooh. Okay. Oh, I was hoping this would be a good reading, but it looks like... Ooh, okay. This might be tapping into somebody specific here, because this doesn't feel like my energy, but could be somebody in the collective. So we got the Nine of Swords. Usually the Nine of Swords talks... It's often called the Nightmare card. Or you have a lot of anxiety, you're overthinking stuff, you're just constantly worried about stuff, you can't make up your mind on something. So I feel like, this feels like a very specific message for somebody here, but it feels like with this card, I'm just going to be blunt with what Spirit is showing me. The dynamic between you and your fictional other is probably not too great, or at least not too great in the time being right now, as I'm seeing with this Knight of Swords. Not Knight of Swords, Nine of Swords. But, so this dynamic, you might be having some anxiety about your fictional other, or maybe you're overthinking things. I know a lot of people in the ficto community or the Yume shipping community, or whatever title you use for yourself, there can be a lot of like non-sharing Yume shippers. So basically people that don't like the idea of like sharing their fictional other with somebody that also sees that character as, significant to them. So you could be somebody right now where you're having a bit of anxiety, or you're kind of overthinking that, especially if you're a non-sharing Yumi shipper. Again, I was hoping this would be a good reading, but I don't want to give it, I want to give it the benefit of the doubt, but considering that was the first card that came out, this might start setting the tone for the rest of the reading. But so the dynamic, you could be somebody that's very anxious right now in your dynamic with your fictional other, or the energy just feels very anxious right now, or a little overwhelming, or very like overthinking things. But the thing with the Nine of Swords is that swords talk a lot about your minds, your thoughts, what's going on inside your head. So a lot of this overthinking could be things that you are making them bigger than they need to be. So maybe check in with yourself. Like I always say, Yume shipping or self-shipping or whatever, it can be a good coping mechanism for a lot of people. I know that a lot of people use it as a coping mechanism, but there is a fine line between coping mechanism and not being a coping mechanism. So just check in with yourself. If you need to take a step back from your fictional other, or take a step back from Yume shipping, and to kind of, check in with yourself, give yourself a bit of self-care, I definitely recommend that. But let's see. What other dynamic? Or let's see, clarify that Nine of Swords. My cards do not want to. Ooh. Oh no, I am so sorry, Collective. I am so sorry. I was not expecting this. I was expecting better, but I cannot, it's just the message the Spirit's given me. So we got the Ten of Pentacles reversed. No, Luce. No, Lucifer. No. Sit down. Lay down. You stay over there. Don't get on my cards. Sorry about my cat, y'all. He sees me doing something. He's being nosy. So the Ten of Pentacles usually talks about family. It talks about abundance. It talks about material wealth or legacy. But with the Ten of Pentacles here reversed, for some reason I keep hearing move on. This feels like it's very specific for somebody. So with the Ten of Pentacles here reversed, you could be seeing your fictional other as somebody that, or the dynamic between you two is probably not for the best. It's definitely not healthy, is what I'm getting with this. Like, there's no... I don't know if I want to sugarcoat this or not. There's no future here with this Ten of Pentacles reverse and this Knight of Swords. So this could be Spirit urging you with this dynamic that, again, yeah, maybe take a step back from the Yum shipping, the ficto, or whatever label you use. Maybe it's best to take a step back and reevaluate that dynamic or that relationship that you have with your fictional other. Like, is this something that is doing good for you? Is this something that is actually helping you? Or, do you feel great with this character? Or is this something that you should probably take a step back from, reevaluate, okay, and think to yourself, maybe it's not, maybe the relationship or the dynamic between me and my fictional other are not, it could have changed, it could have, it's just not the same, so maybe it's best to take a step back and reevaluate that. Again, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. I'm not inside your head, I don't know your specific situation, but this is just the energy that is coming out with what Spirit is showing me. Again, it's very unfortunate. I was hoping this would be a better reading, but I'm gonna pull another couple cards. So I'm not losing hope just yet. But I feel like with that specific combination, it feels like a very specific message for somebody at least. So somebody here, you may need to, whoever this is for, whoever it resonates with, you might want to take a step back and reevaluate things. But we'll give it the benefit of the doubt here. We'll pull a couple other cards. All right, Spirit. What's the core energy or dynamic between the collective and their fictional other? What's the core energy? Oh, that almost came out reverse. And the Nine of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles. So the aces usually talk about new beginnings here. So with the Ace of Pentacles here, I'm seeing some kind of offer here. Or some kind of new beginning that you have with you and your fictional other. Or if it's tied in with this Nine of Swords and this Ten of Pentacles reversed, if I'm speaking to the same collective here or whoever this is resonating with, this could be not just Spirit urging you to reevaluate things, but this could be a new beginning for you with a potential new fictional other or a fictional other from the past, whatever resonates with you. With this dynamic or this new beginning here, this could lead to a healthier dynamic between you and your fictional other. Again, I don't know your situation. And it feels with the Ace of Pentacles too, it feels something that's more stable. In my card, again, I can't really show the cards, but on my deck here, it usually depicts a woman and a skeleton. It's supposed to resonate like you and your shadow self. But I also see this deck as like, when I think about me and my fictional other with this deck, I see me and him in this deck. So there's the woman's hand on the pentacle here, and then the skeleton on the, also holding the pentacle on the bottom, while she's holding it on the top. So it does feel like with this fictional other, either new or past fictional other, it feels like that this Ace of Pentacles here, it feels more balanced for you. The dynamic just feels more, I'm hearing like fresh. It feels rejuvenating. It feels more in lines with you with this new beginning. But it is up to you whether you take it or not. Yeah, tied in with the Nine of Swords. That's just what I'm seeing. So we are getting some good cards. Clarify this Ace of Pentacles. Oh, okay. What's that? Ah. Okay. This is a very interesting reading. I mean, it's not all bad, but well, tarot, no cards in tarot are really bad or good. It just is. But with the Ace of Pentacles, it was clarified by the Two of Swords. Now, the Two of Swords talks about being at a crossroads, being undecisive, not knowing what you want to do. Excuse me, y'all. I have COPD, so if it sounds like I'm coughing in the in the recording, that's my COPD acting up. But anyway, with this Ace of Pentacles clarified by the Two of Swords, it does feel like you might be a little indecisive with what you want to do. Like, you're seeing this new beginning here. You're seeing this new opportunity with potentially a future or past fictional other that could be more stable for you as far as dynamic and the energy goes. But you're a little indecisive right now. You're not sure what you want to do with it. The energy just feels a little scattered. But the Two of Swords on the bright side, if you want to look at the positive of this card, it can talk about balance. So again, going back to that Ace of Pentacles, it does feel like this dynamic with you and your fictional other, either past or present, or past or future, whatever, it does feel like it's trying to balance itself out. I'm hearing like the wheel keeps spinning. I don't know why. I think of that and I think of the Wheel of Fortune. So the universe could be at play here with this dynamic. Or the Hand of God. So yeah, it feels like this dynamic between you and your fictional other, it's trying to balance itself out. Now, if this is a new fictional other, regardless if they're from completely new or from the past, it does feel like this dynamic might be a little rocky at first. You might be a little indecisive with it. You're not sure where you want to go. But eventually, I do see it kind of balancing itself out. But and with the going back to the Ten of Pentacles reversed, I feel like if you want this dynamic to work with you and your fictional other, there's going to require some work here. If you want that Ten of Pentacles with your fictional other, it's going to require some work. And especially if you do not want to slip back into that Nine of Swords energy. Back to that overthinking, that anxiety, that what if, you know? So really need to sit back and evaluate things within yourself, I believe, especially before you take this new opportunity with a new fictional other, and to create a better dynamic between you and them. Alright, so let's get a couple more cards here. I'm so sorry, Collective. I was hoping this energy would be better, but I mean, at the same time, I feel like it's for somebody specific. I feel like somebody specific might need to hear this. So there's a reason it's coming out. Alright, Spirit, what else? What other core energies are between the collective and their fictional other? Oh, okay, we got two here. I don't know if I want to take them. I'll take them. Alright. Oh, that was upright. Okay, another ace. Ace of Cups. This talks about can talk about a new relationship with the Ace of Cups here, but it also talks about an overflowing of emotions. So this could be a new emotional offer, a new emotional beginning, especially if it's tied into a new fictional other for you. And it feels like with this card, it feels like with the dynamic here, it could be a lot more emotional. I'm not saying emotional as in like negative. It could be negative or positive. But with the Ace of Cups, it's a fairly positive card. So I feel like you'll be more emotionally aligned with this fictional other. I almost want to say equal give and take, but that's more like the Ace of Pentacles. Emotionally in tune is what I'm getting with this card. So overall, I feel like the dynamic with the Ace of Cups here, not only is it a new emotional beginning for you and your fictional other, especially if it's a new fictional other for you, but the dynamic just feels like it's very emotional. There's a lot of love here with this card. A lot more love and feelings and emotions with this card. And I feel like that's really driving the core energy or dynamic between you and your fictional other. But let's clarify the Ace of Cups here. Why is Ace of Cups here? The Magician. That came out in reverse. This is not the reading that I expected. Okay. So usually the Magician upright talks about manifestations, putting in the work for something to get what you want, building towards something. So, but with the Magician reversed here, again, going back to that Ten of Pentacles reversed, I do feel like the cup is being offered. You're being offered a new emotional beginning with your fictional other in a dynamic that would be much more aligned with what you want. But with the Magician reversed here, it's like you might not see that right away, or this dynamic again might be a little bit more rocky. It's going to require a lot more work. I'm here like seeing it for what it is. Yeah, it just feels like it's something that's going to require a lot more work, a lot more inner healing work, especially if you're somebody that was in this Nine of Swords energy, or you are currently in this Nine of Swords energy. I feel like this dynamic, if you want this to work with you and your fictional other or have a healthier dynamic, it's going to require a lot of shadow work or a lot of inner work with this Magician reversed, in order to manifest what you really want in this dynamic, and to bring this core energy into something that's more stable and more secured. At least that's what I'm getting with this Magician. I want to grab my phone. Just make sure that I'm getting this right. Because I don't think I've ever gotten the Magician in reverse before. So I just want to make sure that I am getting this correctly. Untapped potential. Alright. You may be feeling unready or a lack of confidence to act. Okay, yeah. Alright, that pretty much explains it. Yeah, okay. Okay, I see what Spirit is trying to say now. Okay, yes, with the Ace of Pentacles, there is a new emotional beginning here with your fictional other. Something that is a lot more... There's a lot of love here, a lot of emotion, a lot of potential for you and your fictional other here as far as like a more aligned dynamic. But you might be feeling, again, with that Two of Swords, you might be feeling a little unsure right now. You're not sure what you want to do with this yet. So again, going back to that Ten of Pentacles reversed and that Nine of Swords, this might require a lot of reflection, a lot of stepping back and being like, okay, is this something that I really want? Do I really want to move forward with my fictional other with this Ace of Cups? So that could be the current dynamic, and it's just overall just a dynamic that's going to require some work. It does feel good. It's not good nor bad, but it just requires a lot of healing work. And I feel like with this fictional other, regardless if they're new or from the past, I feel like they might help you, or you could be seeing them as somebody that is very healing for you. Maybe heal some inner child wounds for you. Maybe just heals parts of you in general, or gives you confidence, or just gives you comfort and support. And so I feel like with the Magician reversed here, that is once again calling you to look inwards and see, okay, what is my fictional other? How are they serving me here? How are they, I want to say almost in alignment, but that doesn't feel like the right word. I know what Spirit's trying to say with this. I'm just trying to find the right words for it. But it's like, how is my fictional other, I want to say how are they serving me, but I feel like it's more than that. What are they reflecting back to me here is what I want to say. What are they reflecting back to you? I often call me and my fictional other, it's funny because a little bit of off story here. I went to an esoteric spiritual event a couple weekends ago with my mom, and they had a couple of tarot readers there. And I got this one tarot reading from this guy who's been doing tarot for like 26 years, almost as long as I've been alive. And so I got a tarot reading from him because I feel like, okay, he's been doing tarot for like 20-some years, 26 years. I feel like he would, really have, really know what he's talking about with a reading. And at one point in the reading, my fictional other came up in the reading as the Knight of Swords. And I see that card as his identifier card. So whenever I see that card, I think, okay, my fictional other is being mentioned here. And so I asked about him. I was like, okay, well, this fictional other, I didn't say that, they were my fictional other. I didn't go to the topic of fictional sexuality with this guy. But he did kind of see that I was like, that my eyes kind of lit up a little bit when I saw this card. And he was like, oh, is this card significant to you? And I was like, yeah, it's ice. That card represents somebody in my life, somebody that's important in my life. And so anyway, at the end of the reading, I was like, yeah, this person in my life, like, there's somebody from the past, but it's been like 20 years since me and this person, I didn't say character or anything, but since me and my fictional other have reconnected. And I was just asking, like, why? Like, what is their purpose here? And he was shuffling, and he got a couple cards, but he got the Queen of Cups. And in his deck, the Queen of Cups had a picture of a woman looking at herself in a mirror. And he basically looked at me and said, this character is reflecting something back to you. And I was like a deer in headlights, y'all. I kind of knew that was going to come out, but at this, just like seeing it like confirmed with his cards from somebody that doesn't even like know, like I didn't even tell this guy, the whole ordeal of like Hume shipping, fictosexuality, but somehow the cards just came out that way. So anyway, a little bit of a tangent there, but it feels like, again, with this Ace of Cups, and I also have the Hanged Man out here too. That was the second card that came out, along with the Magician reversed, or maybe it was the Ace of Cups. Yeah, it was the Ace of Cups. So I feel like here, your fictional other, not only do you have a lot of love and emotions for this fictional other, and there is potential here, but I also feel like with this fictional other, they're kind of, with this dynamic between you and them, it's kind of forcing you to look inwards, to look back at yourself and be like, okay, one, why am I attached to this fictional other? What makes me attracted to my fictional other? But also, if this fictional other is a lot like me, what are they reflecting back within me? And so I feel like Spirit is also asking you to look at that as well. And again, with this Nine of Swords, and this Two of Swords here. This fictional other could be highlighting some shadow aspects of yourself. They could be again, especially if it's a fictional other from the past, like in my case. Um, this fictional other could be bringing up emotions or memories and stuff of the past that might be a little triggering. I don't want to say triggering. Triggering sounds like a triggering sounds like a bad word, but just overall, they could be bringing up some emotions within you and some feelings and some memories that might need to be addressed. So I feel like Spirit is also highlighting that as well. And that by doing so and asking yourself these questions and really taking a step back and looking at yourself, I feel like that will really help you have a stronger, not just a stronger connection with your fictional other, but a much more balanced, harmonious, aligned dynamic between you and your fictional other. Um, but I also get that. And again, with the Hanged Man out here, too, I think that just really seals it in that this fictional other, the dynamic between you and your fictional other, the energy here, you're really looking at yourself. You're looking at this character, and it's like that Queen of Cups in that reading that I had from that guy. You're basically looking at this character like a mirror. Um, and so Spirit is just highlighting here like, hey, what is your fictional other? What are they highlighting within you? What are some things that this fictional other brings up for you? What are some things that you might still need to heal within yourself with this fictional other, especially if you're somebody that's like been with your fictional other for like a long time. I know some people within the fictosexual community or the Yume shipping, or again whatever title you use, even like waifuism. I used to use that title, but I don't anymore. Um, Especially if you've been with your fictional other for like a long time, or you see them as a lot more serious. You see the relationship with them as a lot more serious and a lot more long term. This could be Spirit urging you, like basically saying, hey, if you want things to work out between you and your fictional other, you might need to do some healing work. Whatever healing is for you in that regards, whether it's doing some shadow work, some journaling, maybe even seeing a counselor or therapist, whatever that is for you, especially with this Nine of Swords, I feel like that is definitely being addressed here. But let's clarify this Hanged Man here. And I think this will be the last card, and then I will get some oracle for y'all. What's the Hanged Man doing here? Ooh, Seven of Wands. And the Six of Wands. Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. Okay. And I saw the Six of Wands, too. Let me Google that real quick. I believe the Seven of Wands is talking about being on the defense here. Ah, yeah. Okay, yeah. Alright, so with the Seven of Wands here, you could be a little defensive, you could be a little on guard right now. But as far as the dynamic here, I just feel like there's tension. Like, again, this feels like a very specific message for somebody here. But I feel like with this Hanged Man, not only are you being called to look at things from a different perspective, but you could be a little defensive with your fictional other. I don't want to say if it's with your fictional other or towards your fictional other. It could be towards. I just feel like there's tension within the dynamic here. Maybe you're somebody that, like, if you're somebody that's fictosexual or you're on the ace spectrum, you could be struggling with that identity or coming to terms with using that label. Especially if you're like somebody like me that you're on the A spectrum, you could be struggling a little bit. I'm here like struggling with your emotions. You could be struggling a little bit coming to terms with the fact of having emotions or whatever for your fictional other. Or maybe you're trying to play it off as like, oh, it's not that serious, or oh, I'm not, or oh, that's cringe. Like, you could be playing it off like that, and that's causing tension or strain within the dynamic here between you and your fictional other. And in order to get past that, you're being called to look at something from a different perspective. Or in this case, if you are somebody that is fictosexual, King of Swords here, if you're somebody that you are fictosexual and you use that label, or you're coming to terms with that label, you could be called to look at that from a different perspective, or seeing that for what it is. Once again, doing that healing work here. But I also get the vibe. There was something else I got from this, but I can't remember now. I got another vibe with this Seven of Wands, but the Seven of Wands also talks about boundaries. So you could be also called to put up some boundaries here with this Hanged Man. Again, if it's going back to this Nine of Swords, this Two of Swords, you could be called to be having some boundaries between you and your fictional other, or between the dynamic here. Or you could be called to have some boundaries within yourself in regards to this dynamic here. Especially if, going back to this Knight of Swords here, if this dynamic between you and your fictional other is not working out, you could be called to have some boundaries within yourself, and to be like, okay, this dynamic between me and my fictional other, it's not working, or it's not working anymore, things are different, and you're being called to step back and set boundaries. Like, okay, set healthier boundaries with yourself. Like, okay, what can I do to make sure that the dynamic between me and my fictional other does not turn unhealthy, or it's something that is no longer serving me. So I'm getting the vibe of that as well with this. I'm just looking at a couple other cards. Seven of Pentacles. The Knight of Cups and the King of Cups. Yeah, a lot of water here. A lot of Pentacles and a lot of water. Lucifer. So you could be an earth sign or a water sign, or your fictional other could be an earth sign or water sign. I am seeing swords too, so air sign. We got a bit of air out here. And wands is fire energy, so you could be a fire sign, or your fictional other could be a fire sign. The Magician, I believe... Sorry if y'all hear some background noise here. My grandpa is up here fixing part of the deck right now, but let me see if I can... Zodiac. Gemini and Virgo. Okay. So the Magician is Gemini or Virgo, so you or your fictional other could be those two signs. It's also ruled by the planet Mercury, so go look at your Mercury sign. Or Mercury is significant for you in some way. We did just get out of a Mercury retrograde. So that energy could be playing a part in this. But with this Seven of Pentacles here, the Seven of Pentacles usually talks about putting in the work for something, but also planting the seeds for something. Basically, stepping back and seeing, okay, is this where I'm planting my seeds, where I'm putting in the work, is this worth it? So I feel like the overall energy with this reading, with the dynamic between you and your fictional other, I feel like you are being called to take a step back and be like, okay, is this dynamic working? Where can I improve on this? Where do I need to do the healing work? Where's the tension at? Where are there things that need to be addressed? Am I planting my seeds in the right place? So overall, I feel like that is the main energy with this reading. Again, I was hoping this reading would be a bit better. I mean, again, it's neither negative nor positive. But I do feel like this is a very odd specific reading for somebody here. Um, but yeah. Three of Swords. I mean, not Three of Swords. Three of Wands with the King of Swords. Yeah, again, you're being called to look at something for what it is here. And the Three of Wands usually talks about looking towards the horizon. Um, looking towards the future. What do you want in the future? So again, very much the energy of looking inwards and addressing, is the dynamic between me and my fictional other working? And if it's not, that could be a call for you to take a step back and maybe reevaluate things. And if that means taking a step back from the Yumi Joshi community or the Yumi shipping community, whatever label you use, that might be what you need to do. Just take a step back and take care of yourself. Because at the end of the day, Yumi shipping, a lot of people just use it as a coping mechanism. A lot of people do it for fun. And if you're somebody that just does it for fun, and if it becomes something that is no longer fun for you, or it's turning unhealthy for you, that might be your call to take a step back and take a break from it. But let me get some oracle for y'all here. Let me put my cards away. Make sure I'm getting these cards in the right position here. Again, I was hoping this would be a better energy, but it looks like Spirit had other plans. You know, I just shuffle the cards. I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. That's like one of my favorite tarot readers say. She just says, "I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger." All right, Spirit. What are some oracle that you got for the collective to give maybe some insight on this reading? Ooh, okay. All right, okay. Yeah, this is not what I wanted. All right. So one of the cards I got out was divorce, experiencing a breakup. Yeah, so going back to the reading, you could be somebody right now that is considering or has separated from your fictional other, or you have this with this divorce card. It could also feel like you're taking a step back from the Yumi Joshi community or the Yumi shipping. You're just taking a step back and be like, okay, I need to do stuff for myself. So that could be you right now. Or you're somebody that you have separated from your fictional other, and you're either not in the Yumi shipping community or not in the fictional sexual community, or you're with a new fictional other. Alright, what other cards? Ooh. Alright, the other card is caution. Find out more information. Don't overwork yourself. Yeah, so again with that Nine of Swords energy, again, you're being called to take a step back here and use caution with the dynamic between you and your fictional other. Just really see where things could be improved on here. And again, if it is a call to take a step back and it's getting unhealthy for you, I feel like that's what you need to do. Alright. I'll get one more card here. What else, Spirit? Oh. I feel like that card does not fit here. Okay, so the card that came out was pregnancy. And it says that someone is expecting. But in regards to the fictosexuality community, that doesn't really apply with fictional others. But what I'm getting with this card, not like a literal pregnancy or anything like that, but it feels like, yeah, going back to that Ace of Cups and that Ace of Pentacles, I feel like this is more of like a metaphorical pregnancy. Like you're birthing something new here. So I feel like with the dynamic between you and your fictional other, especially if this is a new fictional other for you, you're in the process of creating a new beginning with you and your fictional other, birthing something new together, to create a healthier dynamic between you and your fictional other. So I feel like that's what I'm getting with this card here. Yeah, so overall it just feels like, I feel like with this too, I don't want this reading to go on too long, but I feel like it is going to go on a little bit longer than I wanted to. But I feel like the specific message I'm getting here is that there is somebody in the collective that might have recently separated from their fictional other, or past fictional other, or they're thinking about it, and they're now using the experiences that they have learned from that past relationship, and they're going at it in a very cautious way. They're taking in the lessons that they have learned, and they're like, okay, how can I do better in my next relationship? How can I do better with my next fictional other? And they're really taking that into consideration here. Finding out all the information that they need. They're taking baby steps. They're not rushing things. Because Pentacles 2 is a very slow energy. So you're very much taking your time with this. And in that process of taking your time, taking things slow, figuring out what you want, between you and your fictional other, you're creating something new here. You're giving birth to a healthier dynamic between you and your current or future I almost said significant other, fictional other here. That's what I'm getting with these cards here. It just kind of plays out a story a little bit. Alright. That was kind of an interesting reading. I was not expecting it to take that direction. But yeah, I hope y'all like the reading, and I apologize if this reading is a little bit more. The energy just felt completely different from my last reading. My last reading, I feel like it was so positive, it was so great, I was so excited, and then this reading is just like complete opposite. But again, I do feel like it is, I'm just the messenger, don't shoot the messenger. But I do feel like that is a specific reading for somebody. But again, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. So at the end of the day, they're just general readings. I'm not inside your head. But yeah, I hope y'all like the reading, and I will post possibly another video here in the future. I am, on a side note here, I am in the process of making my own oracle deck here. So once I make all of those and print them out and everything, I will probably start using those in my readings as well. And I'll probably show off some of the cards in the community post on YouTube. If y'all want to take a look at those. But they're all kind of basically themed after my fictional other and stuff, and basically mainly the childhood aspect of it, because my fictional other is a character from my past, from like 20 years ago. So the whole theme basically is just like very much tied into that, very much tied into the nostalgia in the childhood aspect, but also taking the past into the present and seeing what I can do with the future. Seeing how, again, yeah, going back to that reading where my fictional other kind of mirrors a lot of stuff back to me, that also plays a big role in the oracle deck. But I will show those off at a later time. But I don't want this reading to go on longer than it needs to, so I'm going to wrap this up here. But I do hope y'all enjoyed the reading, and I will see y'all in the next time. Bye!